You guys see that? You guys see where I am? I'm at Goodwill and we're going to be doing a thrift with me video. If you are new to my channel, my name is Riley. You may know me as Honey Rags and I'm a full-time reseller, and I'm gonna take you guys thrifting with me to see what I can find to resell. As always, I'm gonna go through the hard goods looking for mostly vintage items, and then we're gonna go through the clothing. I haven't been to this specific Goodwill in about 3 or 4 weeks because I've just been really slacking since the move. So basically all of it should be new to me. The first thing that caught my attention when I walked in was on this end cap, and it's this ceramic vase, but it had a glass pontil mark on it. The pontil mark is usually what I use to tell if something is like blown glass or not. So I don't know what's up with that. I also saw this pretty cool 1990s, I think, wooden toy. Some wooden toys like that people will buy for nursery decor, like barefoot, bohemian style nursery decor. But I did pass on it just because I wasn't in love with it. It also said made in Taiwan, I believe, which is a good sign that it's like late 80s, early 90s. This is my favorite part of the store, and it was pretty disappointing and not very full, the knickknack part. This is really cute, that deer that I just showed you guys, but it was made out of that really chunky, like mid-90s ceramic. I don't know how to explain it, but there is just this certain really chunky type of ceramic that they made for a few years in the middle and late 90s, and you can just completely feel the difference between any other type of ceramic, really. As you guys can see, there was this huge collection of decanters, which are usually, I mean, sometimes they're hit or miss. Most of the time they're a miss, but people do collect decanters still. I didn't bother looking those ones up though because they were already marked up. This is 1960s chalkware, which is super collectible. However, that is a very basic piece. Usually when you're looking for chalkware, you want like the kitschy kind. You can tell by looking at the back, there's usually a wire on it for hanging, and you literally, like if you rub your fingernail across the back, it's like chalk. Like you can pull up white particles because it's very, very soft and fragile. I always like folk art style dishes and pottery, but they are a hard sell because they're not that hard to come by. If I had like an in-person booth, I would probably pick up more pieces like that, but they're not really worth reselling online because of the shipping costs, obviously. Plus that one was not marked. That little teacup that I showed you guys, that orangish iridescent color, that is a lusterware piece. Usually those pieces, and that color specifically, are Fire King, but that one was not marked. So you can find lusterware as early as like, I think the late 1800s, but they got really popular again because of Fire King in the 60s. And they are collectible, but that was just a pretty basic piece, and there was only one, and it was also not marked, so it was not worth it. I'm going to cut in right here because after I filmed my entire first haul, I ran across the street and I stopped to look at their hard goods, and instead of including that footage at the end of the video, I'm just going to do it right now before we go to the clothing. So what you're about to see is from a charity shop right across the street. So this charity shop, or thrift shop in general, this chain of them, because there's a few of them around me, they're my favorite to go to for finding vintage hard goods to resell because they just will really put anything that gets donated out on the floor. I mean, you could donate a square of old toilet paper and they will put a price tag on it. So a lot of the stuff is junk, but you also find some good treasures. I don't know what it is, but the Goodwills around me, I think they're trying to like clean up their image a bit. So they're more picky about what they put out lately. I think they're like trying to clean up their image and be more boutique-y, like consignment store-esque. I can't really explain it. But this place really puts all the junk out, which I love. Like, I want to go through all the garbage. They always say one man's trash is another man's treasure, and that has never rung truer than this place. These are 1960s ceramic lids. They're Disney lids, obviously, Minnie and Donald. They're tops to a glass jar, And in good condition, you could probably get about $40 to $60 per jar if they have, you know, the lid and the bottom glass jar. They did not have the glass jar. Obviously, I left them behind because of that, or else that would have been a pretty good find. These are, I think, 1970s, I guess folk arty style ribbons for like clothing and trim and stuff like that. I did pick them up. Those will probably be a good sell on Etsy, around $20 for the set. I think this is like a George W. Bush puppet, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's just George Bush. This Winnie the Pooh is hand crocheted and it's cute, but it looks like it's seen some shit. So I didn't pick it up. Sometimes hand crocheted stuffies like that will sell, especially if they're characters, but that one was just, it was cute. But you guys saw that sunflower Corningware glass jar. I actually picked that up for myself. You can resell them. I've resold the sunflower glass pitcher before, but you know, after what you pay in shipping and all of the packaging, because obviously they're glass, it's not really worth it for me anymore to pick Corning up. So these dolls are unique. This doll in the back looks like it smelled a fart from the doll in front of it. So that's cute. They always put old books back here too. Every once in a while I will look through and trying to find like a first edition that they missed, but they have told me before that they tried to look up eBay comps on things that they think are really old. So I don't really bother. Most of this like good stuff slips through the cracks anyway. Or, you know, if they do mark it up, it will sit in the collector's corner, quote unquote, for months until they just end up marking it down to like 99 cents anyway. So I don't really think that's working out too well for them right now, but maybe I'm wrong. I thought this like Jackie O-esque emerald purse was really cute. If it had a little bit more detail to it, I would have picked it up for my Etsy shop and put like 25 bucks on it, but it was just a little too plain. There's just nothing cooler to me than vintage baby gear, vintage high chairs, vintage cribs. The older the better. This one was just really cool looking, very dangerous looking, but I'm sure 30 years from now people are going to look at the high chairs we used and say, those are pretty dangerous looking, because times just change. So now I'm back at the regular Goodwill. It was actually all in the same trip, which you guys know. But for whatever reason, every time I find a cute pair of boots, like from afar, and I want them to be fry, they are either Mossini, or what's the other one? Maurice's. I always find cute Maurice's boots that get me excited, and then they're always just Maurice's. You guys saw me throw those Crocs in the cart. If those would have been any other like regular colored Croc or a classic Croc, I would have left them behind for $6, but they have the suede on top, so I think I can sell them probably around $22. These Keens, I knew right away because at the tip of the toe there are those little exclamation point triangles, and I knew right away those were Keens, so I did pick those up. These Circus by Sam Edelman shoes are really cute. I think I'll put about 24 on them. So I wanted to record most of this trip, but this is a really big Goodwill, so some of the stuff I just threw in the cart, and I'm showing you guys what I found before I actually went through it. Helmut Lang, forgive me if I'm saying that wrong, you guys know my pronunciation issues. I found these Madewell jeans. I found this Free People tank top for $2.99. I thought about it, and then I put it back because it is an older style, and it's just pretty dated. This is my first time finding alternative vintage soft. I didn't even look up the comps on this, but it's a really long duster made out of Pima cotton, and it has the tie-dye burst at the shoulder, so I just really like that. This is a 1960s dress, paisley, like quintessential pattern, right? Reminds me of like couches from the 70s. Dating this was easy. Obviously, you can see that stitching right there, and then they didn't have the ladder stitches to close the edges off on the inside, which is another good way to date it, you know, pre-late 70s. This is Jamie Sadak, which is like a designer golf equipment brand. I don't know if I want to say designer, but I think I found them before, and I think it was just like a pair of regular pants, so I left them behind. But I looked up comps, and I was like, What am I missing? Because it seems like a good brand to resell. Jamie Sadek. This is another vintage cherry blossom dress. Again, probably 1960s. This is an Athleta Maxi, but it has the drawstring side, which for whatever reason, drawstring in sportswear sells well for me. I don't know what it is. Maybe just the way that it fits your body. I don't know. I don't wear things with drawstrings, so someone tune me in on why people love drawstring sportswear so much, because it sells pretty quickly for me. I threw in that New Label Cobby jacket. I've been leaving more New Label Cobby behind recently, which kills me to do because I love selling it, but I have so much of it. I'm like, I gotta be more picky. This is Neon Buddha, which is like my favorite brand to resell. Probably gonna sell that one around $22. I say that it's my favorite brand to resell, but I say that about like every one of my bread and butter brands that sells quickly. This is Parsley and Sage, which 2.5 years ago, this is new with tags. I would have picked this up. This is very like gypsy esque. I keep just putting esque on the end of my sentences to explain things to you guys, but it's just one of those brands that I'm like, I got to cut corners on it because I'm sitting on it longer than I want to. So Parsley and Sage does sell for me, like the more artsy pieces, but like I said, it's just one of those brands. It needs to move quicker for me to start picking it up again. This is Neve, Neve. I don't think I found anything but Neve zip-up track jackets. And here's another great example. This one has a really cool pattern on it, and it is a silk and wool blend. I did not look up the comps, but I'm guessing it's more of a sought-after pattern because I have not seen a piece like that before. I looked everywhere to find this brand. Karen Rena has this like off-brand Family Dollar brand Bart Simpson on it. It's like, I almost wanted to get it, but I couldn't find anything about the brand. This is a Free People movement, which is, it just says FP movement. It's Free People's line of like athleisure wear, and it sells pretty well for me. A nice tie-dye hoodie I'm probably gonna put for $24 on Poshmark. So as you guys can see, a lot of the stuff that I'm finding, it's, right between that $20 and $25 range, which is boring and unexciting and uneventful. But, 9 out of 10 of my sales are between $20 and $30. That's my sweet spot. And it does add up. So this is a Sundance piece. I thought it was a cardigan jacket, but it's actually like a top. It doesn't actually open in the front. I don't know how I feel about that. But Sundance is almost always a yes for me. Even their plain colored pieces I will usually pick up. Okay, so very, very, very typical thrift store haul. This video unintentionally was the perfect example of my average thrifting trip. The quantity was more than what I find on like my average trip, I guess, if you want to get super specific. I usually don't fill a cart every time, but I guess it's a very realistic example of what I expect to find when I go thrifting. Like, this is where I make my income. The special goodies that I find, the figurines that I sell for like $100 that I got lucky on, the $2,000 Harley Davidson thing that was in my last haul. Like, that is great to have, but my biggest source of income is from, hauls like this. So, yeah, like, thinking about it, it's probably a pretty boring haul, but boring does make money. So, I was only going to go to one thrift shop, but the Goodwill that I went to just now, as you can tell in the video, they didn't have that many hard goods out. So right across the street, there's this charity shop right behind me. So, I mean, literally it's right across the street. I'm like, I might as well run in here real quick. So I'm going to run in here and see if they have any cool vintage figurines. I don't think I'm going to bother with clothing because I'm actually supposed to be processing inventory today. Like, I made my little weekly schedule, and Friday is for processing inventory because I'm filming this on a Friday. And I haven't processed anything. So after this, I got to quit. All right. I walked out of there with this for myself and these. It's not a common occurrence that I go into a thrift shop and I only spend $2.50. As always, there's a link down below in the description to my Instagram, honey.rags, and from there you can go to my website and check out my Facebook page. You can give me a like if you want. I'm not the type to ask for likes, but my Facebook page is embarrassing because I have 44,000 people over on Instagram. I think 20,000 on YouTube now. And over on Facebook, I have maybe like 600. So Facebook's just not popping off for me lately. But anyway, thank you so much for watching. As always, happy selling, happy thrifting, and stay safe.